guess we can go ahead and get started. Drew can join us whenever he gets on. At the time, it's approximately 7 p.m. on November 12th, 2020. Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meeting will now come to order. Tonight we'll be operating on Governor Lee's current Executive Order number 65, which is an extension of Executive Order 60 as amended by Executive Order 63, which now has been extended by Executive Order 65 and will remain in effect until 11:59 p.m. Central Daylight Time on December 27th, 2020, which at that time it will expire. In accordance with Executive Order, it should be noted that we are operating in compliance with TCA Section 4-5-312D by providing real-time live audio-video access on Charter Channel 193 and TS Channel 3, and it's also available on the Farragut YouTube channel. Live access to virtual meetings is made available streaming on www.townoffarragut.org live stream. It will be recorded and can be viewed later when posted on the Farragut YouTube channel. This period of time, all Farragut citizens' agenda or forum comments and questions, along with the name and address, should be emailed to comments@townoffarragut.org and should have been received by 12 p.m. the day of the meeting in order to be included in the record of that night's meeting. All Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meetings will be public notice per Tennessee state law. Our meetings are also in compliance with TCA Section 8-44-103 with public notice of our posted agenda prior to each meeting. Pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order, all votes taken will be by roll call vote. Per the Executive Order, I ask that all members speaking to please identify themselves to permit the public to ascertain the identity of each person speaking. I will now ask the town recorder to please take a attendance roll call for a quorum.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett here.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, present.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pinchuk, present.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, present.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, present. Okay, for the record, we ask that all media representatives please respond as well when requested. I think we may have the press and looks like a shopper. Anyone else? None. Okay. Next will be approval of the agenda. Do we have any agenda amendments?
I'm going to move to approve.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. I'll now ask the town recorder, please take a roll call vote.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pinchuk, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that November 12th, 2020 agenda has been approved as posted. Okay, next will be approval of minutes. I'll now ask for a motion to approve both the October 22nd and the October 26th, 2020 minutes as presented.
I have an amendment to the minutes from October 22nd. Under business items, approval of supplement request for additional design services for Ross Filer PC at McPhee Park project. Alderman Meyer had voted no, so the final line where it says no nays is
Okay.
accurate. And with that amendment, I'll move forward.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. You beat me to the punch.
Oh, I'm sorry. I appreciate that.
No, you're fine. No, you're
with
totally
that
fine.
amendment, I'm going to.
Thank you.
With that amendment, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the October 22nd and the October 26th minutes.
Alderman Pinchuk, I'll second it.
Okay, I'll now ask for a roll call vote, please, on the amended approval of minutes.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pinchuk, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that the amended October 22nd and 26th, 2020 minutes have been approved and will be recorded as official minutes of the meetings. Okay, next, mayor's report. And again, I'm going to have to urge everyone to please stay with the physical distancing and the face covering. It's not getting any better, folks. It's really not. We're seeing higher numbers daily. And we, the board, Mayor and Alderman, again, we place a very high value on our staff and our volunteer committees, and as well as our Farragut residents. And we are thankful that Governor Lee has extended the executive order for virtual meetings for everyone's safety. And I've got something to read here. Talking of our staff, we've had 3 staff people that's been recognized. I think maybe before we talked about Allison Myers, who received the Clerk of the Year award from the Tennessee Association of Municipal Clerks and Recorders. And also David Smoke, who recently received the City Manager of the Year award from Tennessee City Management Association. And then also Vice Mayor Pavlin, who's been recognized as a nominee for the Governor's Volunteer Stars Award, and as such will be honored at the 2020 East Tennessee Volunteer Recognition Awards. This is a program of volunteer East Tennesseans to honor Tennessee's outstanding volunteers. Congratulations, and from that I'll yield the floor to the Vice Mayor for her report.
Thank you, Mayor Williams. I have 2 fundraising efforts that are currently going on in our schools that I wanted to bring everyone attention to. The Farragut High School Education Foundation is doing a fundraising called their Admiral Fund. You can get more information about that from fhsef.org. They are doing a fundraising effort that goes through to November 20th to support their elective courses, to either establish new ones or expand the existing ones they have. A lot of equipment goes into that needs to be purchased for these different electives, and they've got a lot of interesting ones that Dr. Bartlett is trying to establish. If you want to get more information, like I said, go to fhsef.org, and they'll have a list of the things that they're looking for. And that runs to November 20th. The Farragut schools are participating in Project Giving Tree. They've changed it up this year. Usually they collect specific items that families have requested, families in need in the Farragut area. Because of COVID, they're turning to collecting gift cards. If you have any questions, you can go to farragutgivingtree@gmail.com. But basically what they're doing is they're collecting gift cards, preferably in $25 amounts from Kohl's, Marshall's, or Old Navy. And that goes through December 4th. So we've got some good things going on to help our community, and they would appreciate your support. And that's all I had.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other aldermen have anything to report? If not, we'll move on to a full slate of agenda items. Ordinances, we have 3 ordinances for review with public hearing tonight, all on the first reading. We'll start with ordinance 20-22, an ordinance to rezone the property at 933 McPhee Road from agriculture A to open space residential overlay. That would be R1 OSR, that's 7 acres, with Rackley Engineering applicant.
Yes, this is Mark Chipley. I'll present this item for this evening. This rezoning request involves a 7-acre tract. It's actually part of the original Velma Seal property, which is just south of McPhee Park on the west side of McPhee Road. The part that's being rezoned is there on the map. It's the southernmost piece. And the request is to rezone it from agricultural to R1 OSR. If you remember, last month, looked at a rezoning request for the property just south of this, the Gibson Farm. which ultimately was the same zoning district that's been requested at this time. And that was approved through the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. And basically, if this property is rezoned, their intention is to combine this with the Gibson farm as a part of a larger development, an open space residential development. This zoning district is consistent with the future plan use map. It was unanimously recommended for approval by the Planning Commission last month, and the staff recommends approval of Ordinance 20-22 on first reading.
So
Okay, thank you,
moved.
Mark. Go ahead.
Alderman Pinchuk, I'll second it.
Okay. Okay, we'll ask the town recorder, please, to read in any questions or comments concerning this piece of property.
We have no comments tonight on this item.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to discussion. We'll start off with Vice Mayor Poplin.
I have none.
Okay, Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, pass.
Okay, Alderman Burnett.
I don't have anything to add, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pinchuk, I pass.
Okay, I have nothing to add as well. It's pretty simple. With the motion and a second, I'll ask the town recorder for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett,
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer,
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Alderman Pinchuk,
Alderman Pinchuk, yes.
Alderman Pavlin,
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that ordinance 20-22 has been approved on first reading unanimously. Okay, next will be ordinance 20-23, an ordinance to amend the Farragut Municipal Code, Appendix A, zoning, Chapter 4, Section 29, grand opening special events permits, to provide for 4 different sign-related provisions. Town of Farragut applicant.
Yes, this item actually was discussed at 2 different sessions of the Planning Commission. And the intent here was to pretty much rewrite this section of the zoning ordinance. And some of the objectives behind this were to clarify the intent of the grand opening permit signs so that it's kind of really broadly applied, like we have been actually doing that. In other words, offices can also qualify for these type of signs, whereas the current language really is restricted to just retail and commercial. Another objective was trying to provide for some language that would improve the appearance of our grand opening sign. So we'll be transitioning, if this is approved, to a smaller sign that would be consistent with the chalk Farragut signs that you typically see throughout the year and during the holidays in particular. And another objective was to update the provisions in this section to cross-reference the new sign ordinance that was passed a couple of months ago. Basically keeping some of the same provisions that we currently have for grand opening signs, that they're allowed as an extra, essentially an extra special event sign. You don't have to pay for them. And now with this language, you wouldn't have to go through this kind of cumbersome deposit process where an applicant has to put down essentially $300 and to get the sign, and then we have to deposit it, and then they get it back when they return the sign and it's in good condition. So we're just basically kind of having them acknowledge that if they do damage the sign and it's not returned in its original condition, that they would be responsible for, compensating the town for that. So one of the things that, based on the feedback from the Planning Commission, is that in terms of the signs for branding and business relation purposes, the Commission did recommend it to continue to have these signs owned by the town and administered by the town, probably through the Farragut Business Alliance. And that way, there's a consistency to those. The signs, as I mentioned earlier, would be smaller and more manageable. Frankly, the signs that we have now are so large that you almost have to have a pretty good sized truck to transport them to the site, and that's been kind of a challenge for some of the applicants. Basically, that's the summary of the update. That's what's provided in Ordinance 20-23. It was unanimously recommended for approval by the Planning Commission in October, and the staff recommends approval on first reading.
I'm going to move to approve.
Alderman Pinchuk, I'll second.
Ron, if you're talking, we can't hear you. Mayor Williams, you're on mute.
Okay, thank you. It did that by itself. Okay, is there any resident questions or comments on this particular ordinance? None. Okay.
Allison, you're on mute too.
I just noticed that. I'm sorry.
Okay, then we'll move on to discussion then. Alderman Burnett,
Alderman Burnett, I'll pass.
Alderman Pinchuk,
Alderman Pinchuk, I pass.
Alderman Meyer,
Alderman Meyer, pass.
Vice Mayor Pavlin.
Vice Mayor Pavlin, pass.
The mayor will pass as well. With the motion and second on the floor, would the town recorder please take a roll call vote?
Alderman Meyer,
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Alderman Pinchuk,
Alderman Pinchuk, yes.
Alderman Pavlin,
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett,
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that ordinance 20-23 has been approved on the first reading. Next will be ordinance 20-24, an ordinance to amend the Farragut Municipal Code, Chapter 18, Parks and Recreation, to prohibit smoking on any children play areas. Town of Farragut applicant.
Good evening, members of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. This is Trevor Hobbs. I'm the assistant to the town administrator, and it's my pleasure to present to you ordinance 20-24 for first reading. Basically, the purpose of this ordinance is to prohibit smoking on the town's playgrounds. By way of background, as part of a number of amendments to the state law dealing with tobacco and smoking, and specifically youth access to these products, the state legislature enacted provisions to allow municipalities to prohibit smoking on the grounds of municipally owned playgrounds. And this provision basically became law in March of this year. The city of Knoxville has already adopted this provision, and the town's rules for parks and recreation are all contained in Chapter 18 of our municipal code. And so Ordinance 20-24 would basically amend Chapter 18 of the Fair Municipal Code to prohibit smoking on the playgrounds. And I'll provide a little bit more detail on the ordinance now. The ordinance before you is composed basically of three parts. The first, it would adopt definitions for the terms smoking and playground. Second, the ordinance would prohibit smoking on the grounds of town-owned playgrounds. And lastly, the ordinance would also amend the method of adopting new rules for the town parks and recreation facilities. Regarding the proposed definitions, the following are actually stipulated by the enabling state law. A playground means an indoor or outdoor facility that is intended for recreation of children and owned by the town. Smoking means the burning of a tobacco product, hemp product, or any other drug or substance. Smoking does not include the use of a vapor product. Because these definitions are terms defined in the enabling state law, it is proposed that the town would not deviate from those definitions adopted if adopting this provision. Regarding the addition of a new rule, it is proposed that we add it and renumber the remaining items in the chapter. we would also create a new section for the definition section, do just some administrative amendments to make it flow more correctly. And then lastly, regarding the amendment of the method of adopting new rules, the ordinance would change the mechanism from that of a resolution to that of an ordinance. After consulting with our town attorney, it was agreed that in the context of amending, the town's municipal code, that each statute in the code is an ordinance. And so therefore, future amendments to the municipal code should be made by ordinance rather than by resolution. It's largely administrative, but since it deals with our legal procedure, I think it warrants consideration at this time. So in conclusion, staff, having studied the state law, and find the adoption of these provisions to be in keeping with the town's duty to preserve the health, safety, and general welfare, it is proposed that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen adopt on first reading Ordinance 20-24, an ordinance to prohibit smoking on the grounds of the town's playgrounds. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
So moved.
Alderman Meyer, second.
Okay, I ask the town recorder to please read in any citizens' comments.
We do not have any on this item.
Okay, then we will now have our discussion by the board members, and I'll start out with what I have to say. And this ordinance is long overdue, and I thank the staff for bringing it to our agenda. And I'll move on to Alderman Pinchot.
Alderman Pinchot, you're on mute if you said something.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor Powell, and I'll come back to Alderman Pinchot.
I did notice that this was on County Commission's work agenda, but I have not gotten a chance to see their meeting to see how they decided. I would love it if we were consistent. Obviously, I think I'll support this, but I would love it if we had consistency from the city of Knoxville and Knox County. I'll check with John Schoonmaker on this. David, do you have any idea where they stand on this?
If Sue Stool is on, she may have a good context for where they stand on it.
Yeah, Vice Mayor, it's David. I know that the city of Knoxville is working through the process or may have already approved the ordinance. So
Okay.
we will be consistent with the city on this provision. I'm not sure about Knox County if they have started that process yet or are going to continue with that process as you mentioned, but we can certainly check in with them.
Okay, that's all I had.
Okay, Alderman Pinchot, have you got your difficulties taken care of? No, we haven't. Okay, we'll move on to Alderman Burnett.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm in support of it. One question for Trevor. Is there a reason vaping is excluded?
That's a good question.
Yeah, there was a lot of debate on this particular provision in the state legislature, and ultimately it came down to compromise. I think some people wanted prohibition in parks and facilities more broadly, and this was just kind of what they wound up with.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, like I said, I'm in support of it, but I would also be in support. I think the vaping can be as obtrusive as the smoking itself, but yeah, I'm in support of it.
Okay, thank you, Alderman Burnett. Alderman Pinchot, are you back on yet?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I got
I
bumped
can't.
out.
Actually, real quick, Alderman Pinchot, turn your speaker down on your computer. Or just turn your speaker off on your computer.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Better.
Okay, I got bumped out. I'm calling in on the phone. I have one question. Like, for example, at McGill playground or any of the parks, are the ball fields, tennis courts, or any of those things included in this, or is this going to be strictly playground for the young kids?
So based on the definition, it certainly would include our, what you imagine when you think the word playground, definitely includes those. But in speaking with our town attorney, the definition that the state provides makes it clear that any area that's intended for the recreation of children is a playground as well. So athletic fields where, children are using those facilities could also be interpreted as a playground.
Okay, I just wonder, are we going to sign the playground and sign the fields? I mean, how are we going to get this information out to the public?
Yes, facilities will have signs making it clear that it's prohibited smoking and citing this chapter of the municipal code. We'll also, in our park settings, we'll have, park assistants and staff of the town that will be able to bring it to people's attention. If they're not looking at the sign, aren't aware, they can bring it to their attention as well.
Now, if there are pavilions, for example, McPhee Park on either side of the playground and splash pad area, are the pavilions going to be prohibited of smoking as well?
Well, that's a little bit, it goes back to that definition.
Not a playground. Not a playground. Right.
Not intended for the recreation or children. It'd be, I guess, the further we get from that definition, I think the more challenging it would be for our attorney to defend us in court if it came to that. And so I think we would, we can easily make that argument about athletic fields where children are actually using them. Other areas that are not programmed specifically for children, I think that becomes more challenging in those areas.
Okay. Well, I've had some people questioning about the fields and also about the pavilion. So I'm just, again, bringing up those concerns. I think we need to be real clear on how we're going to sign these and what where exactly we're going to prohibit the smoking. So just want everybody to be aware that they're having questions to that effect already.
Alderman Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I support the amendment. Just to expand on what Alderman Burnett had mentioned, is there a way for us to go as far as to prohibit vapor products? I know the state had a compromise, but is that even an option for us to take it a step further and not have the vape product on the playgrounds?
So I'll take a stab at answering this, but it's a little bit complicated. So in general, there is sections of the state law that gives municipalities the authority to prohibit and to abate and to resolve, issues and conditions that they find to be detrimental to the health, safety, and general welfare of the public. Those are what we call our general police powers. That's where you get the authority to make rules in general and prohibit things you don't like. However, when the state also gives you a specific authority like this ordinance, if you go more restrictive than that, it becomes challenging to defend yourself, in court. I think if we want to be able to prohibit vaping as well, we would need to lobby for that change at the state level, really, so that we're not going out, and being more restrictive than state law.
This is Sue. Can I say a few things? Or can you all hear me?
Please. Yeah.
Please do.
I'm sorry. I was trying to talk before with the computer, and for some reason it wasn't picking me up. I missed a little bit as I was calling in, but this has been in the works for a really long time, as Trevor talked about. many years that we've been trying to get this passed on behalf of Parks and Recreation across the state, Knox County Smoking Coalition. This is just for Knox County. And so basically it failed last year, or it got postponed. And so, while we would love for it to include the whole park and we would love for it to not have vaping in it, we felt like the best thing we could do is take what we could get, because it's been such a process to get to this point. So as far as, I think Alderman Pinchuk was asking about signage, I'm not sure what was said, but the City of Knoxville Park and Rec Director and I have been working, so we're going to correlate our signage so that it'll be the same with our own brands and ordinance numbers on them, so that we can have continuity there. And hopefully Knox County, if they pursue this in the future, will sort of follow suit.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Scott. Okay, Vice Mayor Pablo.
I have nothing. I made my points. I'd like to see consistency across Knox County, so hopefully we'll get that from Knox County.
Okay, as I read this, it says, whereas Governor Lee signed into law Public Chapter 529 on March 10th, 2020, amending TCA 3917-1551, authorizing local governments to prohibit smoking on the grounds of indoor and outdoor facilities intended for recreation by children and owned by the local government by 2/3 vote of their legislative body. I think when it says on the grounds, a park is the grounds. The whole park is, not just a specific portion of it. So the way I read that, and I'm sure Lawyer Hale can probably have something to say about it, but the way I read that, that's grounds is what it's talking about. And our park is, the complete park is the grounds that is owned by the local government. So I believe that would probably cover the whole thing. And as far as vaping, at some point in time, that will probably come up again. And I think we'll need to probably address that when that happens. And that's all I have.
Mayor, this is David. Could I make one comment just for clarity? In the actual TCA that was adopted, the language that gives us the authority, it does say that a local government may prohibit smoking on the grounds of a playground by adopting a resolution or ordinance. And then it gives the definition of playground, meaning means an indoor or outdoor facility that is intended for the recreation of children owned by the local government. So I know that there's been quite a bit of conversation between the City of Knoxville, their attorney, and I know Tom's looked at this, Sue's been discussing it. We feel very confident that we can definitely prohibit smoking on any playground structure or any facility of a ball field or something like that. We feel less confident about moving away from those areas to pavilions, to just greenways, to parklands, to open spaces, things like that. So that would be the intent right now. And we can certainly get with Tom later and discuss that further. But that's the way that we interpret the ordinance going forward.
Well, certainly we could reach out to our TML attorney, TML attorney too. They review those, and they tend to look at the intent and deliver that information to us. They certainly, there's an intent there that the legislature has in place that we need to make sure that we're abiding by.
I think that's a very good point, Vice Mayor Pavlin, and I believe that Sue Stool could also address that, but there was quite a bit of discussion at the committee level at the state about whether to expand that beyond playgrounds to parks, and they did not decide to do that in the language that they have currently adopted for us.
Yes, what Town Administrator Mr. Smoke has said is true, that there was lots of discussion about this, and the City of Knoxville attorneys have looked at it, and they've rendered some opinions too. So we will do it as far as we feel like Mr. Hale thinks it's okay for us to do.
Okay, with that, I guess we're ready for a vote, unless someone else has something else to add.
Can you hear me? This is Alderman Pitjock.
Yes,
We
sir.
can hear you.
Okay, I have turned off my phone, and I'm hoping you can hear me through the speaker, but I'm having a problem.
Okay, then, Town Recorder, can you please take a roll call vote on this then?
Yes, sir. Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pitjock, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that ordinance 2020 has been approved on first reading. Okay, next will be our business items. We have 5 of those tonight on the agenda. We'll start off with approval of Alderman appointment to the Planning Commission. If that's okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve Vice Mayor Pavlin.
This is Alderman Pitjock, I'll second.
Okay. Is there any questions or comments from the residents?
No, sir.
None, okay. Do we need discussion on this? Alderman Meyer?
Alderman Meyer, pass.
Pass. Alderman Pinchot?
Alderman Pitjock, pass.
Alderman Burnett?
Alderman Burnett, pass.
And I'll pass, and I'll ask the Vice Mayor Pavlin if she wants to continue.
I do, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Okay, then I'll ask the Town Recorder for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pitjock, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show the appointment has been approved as requested by me. Okay, approval of appointment to the Farragut Board of Zoning Appeals.
Yes, sir. We have one application for this appointment. It is for an unexpired term ending June of 2022, and our applicant is John Hoffman.
Okay.
Going to move to approve John Hoffman.
Alderman Meyer, second.
Okay. Any discussion on this particular item from the
Yes, sir.
residents? Okay. We'll move on to discussion by the Board of Mayor and Alderman. Alderman Pinchot?
I think he's a good candidate. I have no further question.
Okay. Alderman Meyer?
I also think he's a good candidate and no further comments.
Alderman Burnett?
Alderman Burnett, pass.
Okay. Vice Mayor Pavlin?
I think John will be an excellent member of the BZA. He's very, he takes the time to get educated, and he's got a passion for the town of Farragut, and I think that was a good appointment.
Okay. I agree with that as well. And I'll ask the Town Recorder for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pitjock, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show the appointment has been approved as requested. Okay, next will be approval of the 2021 Independence Day Parade event date.
This is Sue Stool. July 4th of 2021 falls on a Sunday, and since 1991, July 4th has fallen on a Sunday 4 times. Well, the first time that happened, since I've been with the town, it was moved to a Sunday afternoon, I believe at 2 o'clock. Then after that, the 3 times after that, the parade was moved to a Saturday morning on July 3rd. And so what we're asking today is what would be your pleasure? There's three options: to keep it as is on a Sunday morning, or that presents a lot of issues with coordination with First Baptist Concord Church and participation from a lot of the parade participants. We could move it to 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. I will say it's extremely hot when that happens. And in the year since then, the city of Knoxville has done a good job of expanding their Independence Day salute that they do on the World's Fair site. They sort of stay out of the parade business on the 4th of July. We try to stay out of the afternoon, evening business, and so we all can cohabitate together for that holiday and work with each other. Or we can move it to Saturday, July 3rd. This isn't without problems, because some businesses that normally are closed on the 4th and aren't impacted by the road closure will be open on the 3rd. And that's the reason we're coming to you now to ask for your guidance, because if we do change it to another day or another time, we do need to be able to get out the word to those businesses at the beginning of 2021. So, any questions?
This is Alderman Pinchuk. I'd like to approve the date of Saturday and make a motion for that approval.
I second.
Alderman Burnett, a second.
Okay, great. We have a great motion and numerous seconds, and I'm assuming we have no questions from the residents.
No, sir.
Okay, then we'll start with Alderman Pinchuk.
Yeah, it's been held on Saturday before, and I think it's gone over well, without any glitches, so I'm all for Saturday.
Alderman Burnett.
Excuse me, Alderman Burnett. Yeah, I'm for Saturday. I think that presents the least amount of problems.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, what they said.
Vice Mayor Pavlin.
I concur. It is so blasted hot by the end of that parade. I can't imagine trying to get out there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We'd be passing out. The parade people would be passing out. It would not be pretty. So.
Okay, I agree. So we'll ask Town Recorder for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pinchuk, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that the event date has been approved for Saturday, July the 3rd, and we will start at the normal time, I guess, at 9 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next will be approval of resolution R 2020-11. It's a resolution by the Board Mayor and Alderman of the Town of Farragut authorizing the town to participate in the Public Entity Partners Safety Partners Matching Grant Program.
This is Trevor Hobbs again. I'll present this one to you. The purpose of this resolution is to authorize the town to participate in the Public Entity Partners Property Conservation Matching Grant. Apologize for the incorrect name there in the description. By way of background, Public Entity Partners, of course, is our provider for liability and property insurance. And each year they offer a couple of different matching grants. This one specifically is intended to help reimburse municipalities for the expenses such as security equipment, surveillance devices, and access control equipment. Based on our coverage ranking, we are eligible up to for up to $4,000 in matched funding from Public Entity Partners. Last year, the town began working with our vendor on installing security, surveillance, and access control equipment at various town facilities. And as additional funding for that is going to be used for additional phases of that project, we would be eligible for additional reimbursement this year. For clarity, we would need to spend $8,000 total for improved expenses in order to receive the maximum $4,000 match. However, we already have that funding budgeted. There would not be a requirement for a new allocation or a budget amendment here. We've already got that in our budget. So in conclusion, because the town has already made plans for these expenses in our 2021 budget, without needing to make an amendment, and staff sees no reason not to participate in this grant program, it is proposed that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen approve Resolution R-2020-11 to authorize the town's participation in the 2020 Public Entity Partners Property Conservation Matching Grant Program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any questions from the residents?
No, sir.
None. Discussion, we'll start with Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, pass.
Vice Mayor Pavlin.
Vice Mayor Pavlin, pass.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, pass.
Alderman Pinchot.
Alderman Pinchot, pass.
Mayor Williams, pass as well. I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Alderman Pinchot.
Alderman Pinchot, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that resolution R 2020-11 has been approved. Okay, next will be approval of resolution R 2020-12. A resolution to name the plaza located at 11409 Keystone Pike, the Mayor Ralph Mcgill Plaza.
Yes, sir, Mayor. This is David Smoke. Just wanted to give you a few thoughts on this before we read the resolution into the record. This was a project that the town has been working on in different phases over the last couple of years. Obviously, beautifying the northwest corner of Campbell Station and Kingston Pike with the Campbell Station Inn project and the plaza that goes along with it. And one of the folks that was definitely heavily involved in working on that and making that a priority for the town was former Mayor Ralph Mcgill. So I'd like to read Resolution R-2020-12 into the record for the board's consideration tonight. Whereas Dr. Ralph Mcgill was one of the founding fathers of the town of Farragut when it was incorporated in 1980, and whereas Dr. Ralph Mcgill was sworn in as mayor of the town of Farragut on April 23rd, 2009, and again on August 28th, 2014, and whereas beginning in 2012, Mayor Mcgill had the vision for the town of Farragut to purchase and restore the historic Campbell Station Inn located at the northwest corner of Campbell Station Road and Kingston Pike, and whereas the Campbell Station Inn was built in the 1830s and served as a hospital for wounded soldiers during the Civil War Battle of Campbell Station, and whereas on November 17th, 2013, Mayor Mcgill's dream became reality when the town of Farragut purchased the Campbell Station Inn property, and whereas over the next few years he witnessed his vision come alive through the stabilization of the inn, and whereas the stabilization, revitalization, and development of the Campbell Station Inn property was an important project to Mayor Mcgill as it preserved an important part of Farragut's history. And now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the town of Farragut, Tennessee, to hereby name the plaza located at 11409 Kingston Pike, also known as the Campbell Station Inn property, as the Mayor Ralph Mcgill Plaza for his dedication to the town of Farragut and its citizens. This resolution is duly adopted by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the town of Farragut on this 12th day of November, 2020.
Okay.
Mayor, I was going to allow you the honors of making that motion.
I will make that motion.
And I'll second.
Okay. And you can start off with your comments.
Well, and I want to say, when I ran for alderman in 2016, I got some pushback from some residents on this particular project. They didn't quite understand it, to which I reminded them that without preserving this, we could have just another ubiquitous corner in another ubiquitous suburban town with a defunct Rite Aid on the corner, because that was one of the, from what I understand, one of the commercial entities looking at that property. So instead, what we have is a beautiful plaza, a beautiful building that I know that we will find a very good use for, that brings honor to our community. And Mayor Mcgill had a vision, and he stood for it, and he worked hard. And I'm glad that we could bring it to this point. I'm sad that he doesn't get to see it. I know Marianne is very proud. I know the founding members are very supportive of us acknowledging Ralph in this way. So I'm pleased that we're doing this.
Okay, thank you. I would have to concur with all that. That was typically set at church with Ralph prior to ever being elected, and that was one of the things that he was really on his mind to do, and that he wanted to accomplish during his tenure. And I do wish he was here to see it. And Marianne is very pleased, and I think the rest of the Magnificent Seven that were our founding fathers are pleased as well. I'll go on to Alderman Burnett, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to add, growing up in this town, that corner is, well, it's been a little bit of an eyesore for a long time. And just in honor of Mayor Ralph Mcgill, it took a man of great vision to see what that could be, because I don't know that I saw that for a long time. But if you've driven by in the last few weeks or months and you see the drawing that's on the board, or you've driven by, I think this is everything that he had hoped it would be. So it's a very proud moment to name that after him. And yeah, I'm very excited to move forward with it.
Thank you, sir. And Alderman Meyer.
Thank you. I never got the privilege to meet Mayor Mcgill, but I am one of thousands of Farragut residents who have benefited from his gracious and unselfish way of leading this town into the next century, into the next chapters of what the town will be. And so it makes complete sense to me that his name should be on the plaza. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Alderman Pinchot.
Yes, when I joined the board in 2014, it had just been purchased before, and I was very supportive of it, even though there were a lot of doubters at the time. And I think the way this project has progressed through the years and the final result has just been very impressive. And I'm just so sorry that Mayor Mcgill isn't here to see the results of all his efforts. So very proud moment, and I'm glad it's being called in his name.
Okay, thank you, sir. And is Sue still on the line?
I don't think so.
Okay, well then we'll move on, and I'll ask for a roll call vote then.
Alderman Pinchot.
Alderman Pinchot, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Okay, let the record show. Excuse me.
I'm sorry, Mayor. I'm here. I'm sorry, I was across the room when you were asking.
Okay, so I was going to ask you if you had any comment. I mean, this is something that it's in your court, so to speak, now, and I was going to see if you had any comment concerning this property.
I think it's going to be wonderful, and I know that the Mayor Mcgill would be very proud of it. It's a beautiful, beautiful plaza, just gorgeous. So I think this is wonderful and a great corner for our town.
Okay, thank you. And we have a unanimous vote, and let the record show from this day forward, the plaza will be officially known as the Mayor Ralph Mcgill Plaza in honor of the town's of Farragut's third mayor. Okay, that concludes our business items. We do not have our town attorney tonight, but we do have our town administrator, and we're looking forward to his report.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just a couple quick things. One is with Light the Park this year, it's always a big event for the town of Farragut. Usually a big event. We flipped the switch there at Founders Park. We're doing a little differently this year. And so we're going to have the lights on starting Tuesday, November the 24th, which is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and that'll run through the end of December. But we're actually expanding that event this year to add more lights to the Campbell Station Inn property and the plaza that we just talked about, naming for the Ralph Mcgill Plaza. So we're going to have quite a few more lights out there. We're going to have lights at the community center. Lights also we're adding near the interstate. And so we're wanting to have a lot more folks come and walk up and down Campbell Station Road and be able to go from one property to the next. The other thing we're going to have, and if people go to visitfarragut.org on our website, there's a calendar of different events going on throughout the season for people to come to Founders Park and really be able to see different businesses that are participating, maybe carolers that are participating. There's different things going on throughout the whole season. So we really look forward to, if people want to get out there and check it out, go to that website, visitfarragut.org, and they can check out all the different things that will be happening during the month of November and December. Also, since we're not going to have another meeting, board meeting for the rest of this month, just as a reminder, we have Thanksgiving coming up, and so Town Hall will be closed on Thursday and Friday, November 26th and 27th for the Thanksgiving holidays. So that's all I have tonight, unless the board has any questions for me.
If so, speak up.
David, I did want to congratulate you. I know we went and saw you when you get this award, and we are very proud of you as our town administrator. You work very hard. You've done a great job with building an incredible staff who they all work hard, and it's a family that we get to kind of visit in on every so often. We get to see how everyone is very fond of themselves, fond of each other when we have the Christmas party. I really do enjoy working with all of the great people that work for the town of Farragut. And I know that you're part of keeping us going in the right direction, and I really appreciate your efforts.
Well, I appreciate your kind words, and I really appreciated you and the mayor and Trevor all coming to Nashville with me last Wednesday and supporting me while I received the award. But as you said, it's nothing that I could certainly do myself. You know, we have tremendous staff that really helps all of us excel here at the town and be able to get our projects done, be responsive to citizens, all the things that we need to do as a community. So without them, you know, I certainly couldn't do my job as effectively as I'm able to. And we just have a great culture here at Town Hall and our community center and our public works departments. And I think that's been hopefully eminent and the public can seize that whenever they interact with us. So thank you.
Hey, thank you. Okay, without anything else, do we have any citizens forum tonight?
We do not, sir.
Okay, then I won't need to read that. Then the time is approximately 7:58, and without objection, November 12th, 2020, Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meeting is now adjourned.
Good night, everyone. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, David. Thank you, Sue.